So Clam Blitz has been out for a few days now, so I figured I might as well go over some of my thoughts regarding the mode and how it's going to be perceived in comparison to the other modes. So I've only played it for a short amount of time myself. In fact, I haven't even still reached S plus in it, mostly because I have other things to do that take away from my ability to play the game. However, I have played it enough to be able to understand what exactly is going to happen here. I've played it both in solo and I've played it sometimes in League. And just right away, I can tell you that in a team environment, this mode is a lot more fun. So if you're out there playing this specifically in solo and are not enjoying the mode, it's because it's probably not the best for solo. It is, in fact, probably the worst solo mode. At least right now, it feels like it is the worst solo mode. It probably would have been better had I played the mode when it first dropped, but I was unable to due to the fact that I had to actually go to bed to be able to wake up for work the next day. So I didn't get to play it in the initial launch of the mode like everyone else did, so a lot of the people I would expect to see in solo and be reliable are already way past where I'm at, and now I'm kind of stuck sitting with the people that are either doing what I'm doing and playing it late, or the people that are actually at the level that I am at in the game. And it kind of makes it difficult. It makes it really unenjoyable. But aside from that, how does the mode feel? Well, first off, it's actually really enjoyable. I find the clams and the way you have to score to be really interesting. The method of scoring it being that you have to get 10 clams to make a super clam, and only that can pierce the basket, and then from there on you can use normal clams to score points. Normal clams counting as 3 points, and the super clams counting as 20 points. And every time the basket closes for the team, the team that had their basket opened gets to have a free super clam for a counter push. Now, the one thing that kind of makes this interesting in comparison to all the other modes is in the other modes, if you wipe your team for a push, so say everyone on your team dies to get whatever score you did with the objective, it's usually a bad thing. However, it seems like with Clam Blitz, wiping for a push can actually be okay. Probably still not the best strategy, as you'd like someone to probably stand back and still collect the clams as they respawn. However, it is still okay in some degree to be able to drop a few people for the points. And that's mostly because there is a time window where the enemy has to wait to be able to make a counter push. When one basket's open, no other basket can be opened. So say you and your team push and break the enemy's basket open, and then you all die while throwing all your clams in. Say you get the score down to 1. Now they have to wait for the basket to close to be able to make a counter push, even though your entire team is dead. By that point, you can respawn and get back onto the map before they're able to actually start moving. And if you use something that now I actually would consider quick respawn, you would actually be able to get back faster before they can actually do something. I also feel like this mode kind of has the same feel as Rainmaker in approach to weapons. In tower control and splat zones, you're more or less going to want to use weapons that are specific to doing the objective. In zones, you'll want to have something that can paint well and still be able to kill things. In tower control, you want to have mostly AoE stuff or things that can cover fast or provide cover or like support. But then when Rainmaker came out, it allowed other weapons to start being used because they were able to, pop the Rainmaker shield faster than most weapons, or they were able to do something with their special that supported the Rainmaker, or just in general they had something specific they could offer with their sub or special, and then the weapon can be replaced with the Rainmaker. This sort of has that same feel where not like it opens the door for more weapons to be used. You can use more than the standard like NZAP, Splatter Shot, whatever, because some things can move faster and some things have the ability to do certain things faster and be able to move about the map. And I'm kind of talking about the brushes. In the first game, I would have said that Rainmaker was the Ink Brush and Octobrush's best mode. However, due to some of the changes to the weapons, they aren't really that good at popping the Rainmaker shield anymore. And so now I feel like Clam Blitz might be one of their better modes, because you can just simply roll around at a high speed and collect the clams and then start running towards the enemy base. Now, obviously, people are gonna point out that makes you a big target, and that's where I feel like Ink Brush when played well, could be the actual better option. And this is the first time that I will have been saying this, that Ink Brush probably is better than Octobrush. Granted, on flat maps, I wouldn't try this method on something that has a lot of elevation changes like Moray Towers. However, certain flat maps might actually be good for the Ink Brush, and specifically the Ink Brush Nouveau. As a safety measure, they made sure that the clams don't really interact well with certain specials. A lot of the specials will have you drop your clams to use it, like Splashdown. However, some specials seem like they weren't fully tested, or they weren't actually handled very well when it comes to using them alongside with having clams. Inkjet allows you to still collect clams, and then you can take them back to wherever you jumped. A video shown on Twitter by a Japanese player named Jiko from the team Regen showed off that you can collect a super clam with the Inkjet and then return to the jump point, and then you will have the super clam. He used that in his video to use the Inkjet from the enemy basket, pick up a super clam, and then jump back to the basket and scored points. This is kind of a problem and will probably be fixed later down the road, but one of the more better specials when it comes to this is actually Baller. When you use Baller, in theory you would think you would drop all your clams where you were, but in fact the clams follow you while you're in your Baller and they wait till you explode to drop. Now, say you use your Baller with a super clam and push all the way to the enemy basket, then explode underneath it, chances are you're going to be able to pick up the super clam and throw it into the basket before you're opposed again, because of the Baller pushing people back with a knockback or maybe killing some. Another good special is actually Bubble Blower, and this is, I've been seeing a lot of people say this is probably the highest tier special for this mode. Bubble Blower doesn't make you drop clams either. You can throw your bubbles and then sit inside them. Because they act sort of like a splash wall, where when you're standing inside a bubble, you basically get this invulnerability time until the bubbles are small enough for your hitbox to be bigger than them. So you can use them to provide coverage. You throw your bubbles, you jump inside them, shoot them occasionally so you can sneak through inside them, and then throw your clams in the basket while the bubbles shield you. Now, the sort of counterplay to this is to use Object Shredder or to throw bombs. Because they interact, or bombs interact with them the same way they interact with the Rainmaker Shield or a Splash Wall, throwing a bomb on a bubble when there's someone's hitboxes overlapping with it can cause them to be killed by the bombs. So it is possible to do something about it. You could also simply just shoot the bubbles and shoot the person, or you can prioritize someone that has Bubble Blower. I could definitely see some changes to the specials and how they interact, but I feel like right now the best specials for Clam Blitz are Bubble Blower, Baller, and probably Inkjet, because the Bubble Blower doesn't cause you to drop them and gives you a shield so you can score. Baller doesn't make you drop it until you explode. By that point, you already got what you wanted. And then Inkjet allows you to pick up clams and take them back to wherever you jumped, allowing you to, get away with something if you're able to start your Inkjet from a safe spot and an unknown spot in the enemy side near their basket. But aside from all that, I'm actually really enjoying playing this mode. It's a lot of fun. It's actually surprisingly different for the other modes. There was this sort of fear that I had that there wasn't really too much they could do. A while back there was a leak showing that there was going to be a fourth game mode, and there was a lot of speculation as to what it was going to be. At the time I didn't think there was really too much they could have done to add a different mode. A lot of the modes in the game already sort of cover a lot of the basic stuff. So I was really curious as to what they would add that would be different. And sure enough, this delivers. This is different enough, and it is surprisingly fun enough that I would actually see this being probably one of the better modes. At the time of recording this, there aren't too many tournaments that have incorporated the mode yet. There have been, I think, at least 2 tournaments so far that have been dedicated just towards the mode. But right now, we're sort of in this period where everyone's still trying to figure out what to do, and the chances are that something's going to get patched before people get a grasp on what this mode is and how to fully play it. So, much like all the other weapons, when it comes to changes, we're going to have to constantly be adapting to what happens. But right now, I feel like this is probably one of the better modes. Now, some things I'd like to have changed. I'd like to actually be able to see the arc at which you throw the clams. When you currently throw a clam, it doesn't show the same arc that it would with a normal sub. And I feel like that would be kinda nice to have. There's been so many times where I've missed the basket because I felt like it would be able to be thrown like a normal sub, but because I can't see its trajectory, I have no idea where it's going to go. So a lot of the times I miss and I get myself killed and didn't even score any points. So I'd like to be able to see the trajectory that you throw it. I'd like to see some changes to specials interaction with it. Like, like I mentioned earlier, that some specials just don't, like, they don't make you drop the clans like other specials do. And I feel like that's probably going to get fixed. But those could all be classified as nitpicks more than anything else. The mode is pretty good and pretty enjoyable in a team setting. Currently, it is probably the worst solo mode, but again, it's probably because I'm not playing with the people that I would expect to be playing with, and I'm currently having to deal with people that are not exactly the best. So it could be at least bearable in a solo environment. However, I definitely feel that this is probably the most enjoyable team environment mode, and I've heard people say that it is one of the better modes to be a spectator for. So, with all that, that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to say. I'm definitely excited to play more of this mode, and I'm definitely excited to see some of the changes they'll bring to this. And I'm interested to see how these will work out with the newer maps that are coming out, with Walleye Warehouse just coming out, well, the other day. So that's it. I appreciate everyone watching. Feel free to share your thoughts on Clam Blitz in the comment section below. I'll be checking them out, and I may be replying to some of the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.